steps of Humbly to remove your shortcomings. Since the fifth step specifically concerns itself with humility, we should pause here to consider what humility is and what the practice of it can mean to us. Indeed, the attainment of greater humility is the foundation principle of each of the 12 steps. For without some degree of humility no alcoholic can stay sober. Nearly all shave found to the tunlist he developed much more that this precious quality font may be required just for sobriety. They still haven't much chance become truly happy. Without it they cannot live at home. You choose full purpose or in adversity. Biblicos among the 5 that can meet tonight emergency. Humility as a word and definitely have a very bad time of it in our world. Not unlike eyes hate misunderstood. The word is often intensely disliked. Many people haven't even an acquaintance with humility's way of life. Mushoff heaver de torque here on dagri at delif what worry highlights men spreading his own achievements. With great intelligence science have been fork. In nature to disclose her secrets. The men's resources no being hardness said promises suit a quantity of material blessings that many have come to believe that made millennium lies just ahead. Poverty will disappear, and there will be abundance at every body conhavial the security on personal satisfaction desires. Fabio seems to be that once everybody's primary instincts are satisfied, there won't be much left to quarrel about. The world will then turn happy and will free to concentrate on culture and character. So live by their own intelligence and labormen will have shaped their own destiny. Certainly no alcoholic and certainly no member of wants to deprecate material achievement. Nor doubting to integrate with the many hostile passionate link to feebly left-headed satisfy our basic naturalities. I resist the main object of life. Beware super that no class of people in the world ever mad wars mess off trying to live a bit this effort. Malafine alcoholics. 4000 sapphires have been demanding marathonure share of security, prestige and romance. What we see meant to be succeeding will drank to dream still greater dreams. When we were frustrated, even in part we drank for Livian. Never wasted an ounce of which without twitted. In office strivings so many off-camp intentioned, our crippling handicap beginner lack out humility. We have lacked the perspective to see that character building and spiritual value had to come first, and that material set, his actions were not the purpose of living. Quite characteristically we had gone all out in confusing the ends with the means. Instead of regarding the satisfaction no for material desires as the means by which we could live and function as human beings, we had taken to see satisfactions to be the final end aim of life. True, most though few tout good character was desirable, but obviously good character was a method in order to get with the business of being self-satisfied. With a proper display of honesty and morality, stand a better chance getting what we really wanted. Whenever we heard between character and comfort, the character building was lost in the dust for after what we thought was shabbiness. Seldom did we look at character building as something desirable in itself, something we would like to strive for whether your instinctual needs were met or not. Whenever have tough making honesty, tolerance, and true love of man and God the daily basics of living, this lack of encouraged any permanent values. This blindness to the true purpose of our lives produced no third result. For just so long as we were convinced that we could live exclusively our own individual strength and intelligence, for just that long was a working faith in a higher power impossible. This waste even would be believe God existed. We could actually have earnest religious belief which remained barren because we were still trying to play God ourselves. As long as we placed self-reliance first, a genuine reliance supposed higher power was to the question. That basic ingredient of all humility, a desire to seek into God's will was missing. For us the process of gaining a new perspective was unbelievably painful. It wasn't like the repeated humiliations that were forced to learn a method about humility. It wasn't like a fiend of that long road marked the successive defeats and humiliations and the final crushing go for self-sufficiency. But we began to feel humility as something more than a condition of a groveling despair. Every new compared alcoholic's nemesis told and soon realizes for himself that her shumby admission of powerlessness of her alcoholic's first step toward liberation from its paralyzing grip. Swatus fit with years humility's necessity. But this the rest beginning to complete yon for more aversion top hated being humble to gain not vision of who. Humility as the new top true freedom of human spirit. To be willing to work for humility as a mething to be desired for itself takes most of you that long time. A whole life. Time your to self-centeredness cannot be certain reversal attents. Rebellion dogs out revering step at first. When we had finally admitted without reservation that we're a powerless alcohol we reacted briefly agree at sight relief saying well thank God that SOV exclamation point IL next. Hey vet got thrust the tag in exclamation point then we learned often to our consternation that this isn't like first milestone Hampton Road where walking dog still goaded be sheer necessity. We're reluctantly come to grips with thoughts of sriracha returf lost hat made problem drinkers so use in the first place. Floor switch must be dealt with to prevent treating told alcoholism once again. You'll want to bury off some of these effects in some instances styles will appear to be an impossible job from which worry coil. And dwelling with a passionate persistence to authors which are just as disturbing to equilibrium because so still enjoy them too much. How can we possibly submund the resolution and fulfill Mr. off such overwhelming compulsions and desires? Beauty again where driven by the inescapable conclude. Science which will draw from a experience between surly muster with ill moral small bites the wayside advise. State you for progress where under have a pressure and coercion to do the right thing. We are obliged to choose between the pains of trying and certain penal ties of fail. King Toto so these initial steps along the road are taken grudgingly yet we don't take them. We must still have a very high opinion of humility as a desirable personal virtue but we do cognize it a sane successor led to earth survival. When we have taken a square look at some of these defects have discussed them with a note and have be come willing to have them removed. Our thinking about humility commences to have or either meaning to be fifth time in all probability we have gained some momentary release from more already devastating handicaps. We enjoy moments in which there is something like real peace of mind. To those yofus who have hit her talk no only excitement depression, or anxiety in other words. To all of us this newfound PC separatless gift. Something new in it has been a where humility had firmly stood for forced feeding and humbly be it no begins almond nourishing gravity and twitch contribute serenity. This improved perception of humility starts another revolutionary change in our outlook. Our yes begin to open top the immense values which have come straight out of pain years ago puncturing until no our lives have been largely devoted to running from pain and problems. We fled from the mass from a plague. Whenever content to deal with the factor suffering escape the pivotal way so we our solution. Character building thrust suffering might be alright for since what it's certain lighted and appealty to use. Then a looked and listened. Every saw failure and misery transformed the humility into virtue. Less assets. We heard story after story of how humility had brought strength out of weakness. In every case pain had been the price of admission into a new life. But this sad mice. Science price had purchased more than we expected. It brought that measure of humility which was soon discovered to be a healing raw pain. When the gone to for painless handy's ear humil. He the more pain ever. During this process of learning Maria be out humility the most profound result of always that change our attitude toward God. And fifth ways through to hither we had be levers around the lever. When the gone to jet overt hated that high air power weights a sort of bush legal pinch hitter to be caught alleged Pauline an emergency. The notion the twain would still have your own lives God help you a little now and then begin to evaporate. Man yo foods who had how to ear. So as religious woke you to the limitation soft this attitude. Refusing to place God first we had it pre the door selves off her shell. But now it's words off my life I am nothing the Father doeth the works begin to carry bright promise and meaning. We saw it will needn't tell with spit bludgeoned and beaten into humility. I could come equally as much fro more violent. Reaching for deceit could from unremitting suffering. A great turning point in our lives can you hence if effort humility is something worry only wanted, rather than as something hence to have. It marked the time when we could commence to see at these implication of steps of an Humbly to rea movie or shortcomings. It swept protect the case I'll taken got steps of an it. Might be to if we adopt a inquiry and smurges water deep at objective elsere. The foods would like to live a peace with themself and with this fellows. Would like Tobias. Sure that the grace of God can for us what twain cannot for ourselves. We have seen hatch character defects best European short-sighted or the desire Sarah the hibs to clest hat blocker path toward these objectives. We now clearly see that we have been making unreasonable demands upon ourselves. You a note thirst and do on God. theki activate aro for defectious bin self-centered fear, primarily fear that would losi so mething real, ready possessed or would fail to get something we demanded. Living upon no basics of unsatisfied demands, we were in a state of continual disturbance and frustration. Therefore no peace was to be had unless we could find a means of reducing these demands. The difference between a demand and a simple request is plain to in these events push we make their change nor attitude which permits us with humility as our guide to move out from more self-bestowed others and toward God. Full emphasis of steps of innocent humility. Itus all light saying to us that we now ought to be willing to try humility in seeking the removal of our other shortcomings. Just to sweet it when we admit that we were powerless over alcohol and camera to believe a thought of power greater than ourselves that could restore roosted sanity. If that degree of humility I could not use to find the grace of be which is such a deadly obsession could banished, then there must be hope beyond the mere salt respect in gain yother problem we could possibly have.